How's it going, guys? It's no question that UNIQLO is a massive brand, especially in regions like Europe and Asia. However, here in the States, I feel like they haven't really made landfall yet and aren't all that popular. But time and time again, from some of my favorite YouTube creators, I always see them recommending their products, and they seem to be very high quality. And from what they say, they love the fit and style of everything that they buy for the most part as well. So in this video, I wanted to take it upon myself to buy a bunch of items from UNIQLO, do a complete haul. I've seen from so many creators that some of their favorite essential items are from UNIQLO, so I knew I had to try them myself and let you know whether I think they're worth it or not. So with that said, let's get into it. So first up, I'm just gonna jump right into it and start with the most popular item that I see recommended time and time again from what seems like almost every YouTuber, and that's gonna be the Airism crew neck t-shirt. Now on paper and online, it looks like a great tee, so I had to try it for myself, and I was so excited to get this t-shirt because I'm a huge fan of oversized tees. If you watch my channel at all, you know that it's definitely part of my style, and I was really excited to get this and hopefully add it into my wardrobe and really be a staple and essential tee that I wear all the time. But honestly, I would not recommend this tee, and here's why. I mean, the quality of it seemed solid. The stitching was great. I liked the fabric, actually. I thought it was pretty thick, and I liked the feel of it. It seemed quite comfortable on the skin, and I could see it definitely holding up over the test of time. I also liked how tight it was around the neck. I think that looked really good, and the length of the tee was perfect as well. The drop shoulder and styling overall was fine as well, but what I just could not get past was how long the hem was on the arms. I just couldn't get over it, and it's really not my style. I think it looks quite awkward, honestly, and again, I am really comfortable with wearing oversized tees. I love it. It's one of my favorite staples to have in my wardrobe, but for some reason I think this just looks a bit odd, and I see other YouTubers wearing it and I think it looks good on them and matches their style, but for me, I just honestly couldn't get past it, and there's plenty of other oversized tee options that I'd rather go with. And this was really shocking to me. This is a popular item that I see coming from pretty much every single YouTuber that I see, and so I was so excited to try it, and to say it was a disappointment would be an understatement. So unfortunately, I'm gonna end up returning this item just because it does not fit me, nor do I think it looks good. All right, the next most common item I see all of these YouTubers recommending from UNIQLO was the Smart Ankle two-way stretch pants. And honestly, I think they fit really well. It was also true to size, which I really liked. I'm glad that the sizing on it was proper. I do think over time, the seam down the middle will need some care. As you wash it, it's obviously gonna go away. So if you have an iron, then definitely pleat that and make that look stay vibrant and there over time. But I will say the material, in my opinion, was so-so. I mean, it is only a $50 pant, so I understand that. I don't expect it to be the most high quality. It felt okay. It's certainly not the most comfortable fabric, and I think after probably multiple washes, it will start to loosen up a little bit, but it was a bit stiffer than I was expecting of a material, so that's just a small gripe for me. But overall, the sizing was perfect. I really liked the hem length. It cuts off perfectly around the ankles so you can't show off your shoes, and if you're wearing Birks or something like that in the summertime, I think this is a really nice touch and a really great look overall. So for me, I actually would wear this item. I'm happy with it, and I think all those recommendations for solid trousers coming from UNIQLO, this is actually definitely one that I would recommend to someone and would wear myself. Now, if you're enjoying this video so far and finding it helpful, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up to get it to more people just like you, and also subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Now, with that said, let's keep going. Okay, so those are two of the most common items I see recommended time and time again on YouTube from people that I personally trust and look up to. One I would not buy, one I think is a great recommendation. So at this point, it is really 50-50. All right, next up, I went with a linen blend relaxed pant. Again, this was an item that I saw recommended by so many YouTubers, so I had to try it. Linen is definitely in right now, and I'm a huge fan of linen. I have a couple of linen tees that I think look great. But for this specific item, I thought it looked good. The only thing that I saw as a drawback was that it was a bit too long. What's nice about UNIQLO is that with some of the items, you can order some alterations as you order it. So for this particular item, I would recommend going an inch or two shorter, just so it fits you perfectly. And honestly, a linen pant definitely should be perfectly hemmed and sit right above that ankle. Okay, the next one I'm gonna talk about is the open collar short sleeve, which is very similar to a camp collar. And if you can't tell, I'm a huge fan of camp collars, and I have an entire video dedicated to my favorite ones as well. So again, I was super excited to try this item out. The colorway was perfect. I love a good neutral tan color. But when I tried it on, it was just way too big. It was a large, just like I would buy at any other brand or any other clothing store, and it was just honestly so big that it was not wearable, so I had to return it as well. And so you're probably catching on to a common theme here, that the sizing was just so off, and typically I would just blame myself and say, oh, well, you know, that's my mistake. I'll just go ahead and return it. But when it's just a simple item like a camp collar tee where I buy a large from multiple different brands and it always works, and then I go to UNIQLO and it does not, that for me just doesn't feel like it's my fault. It feels like it's a really weird thing with the company in terms of just how they go about their sizing. So it's a frustrating thing, and when it's kind of a value brand, I just expect to walk in, or in my case, just order online and get it and it fit perfectly. So that's just something that I've picked up on with UNIQLO. All right, and finally, I was looking for a good overshirt for this spring and summertime, and so I went with a shirt jacket. And again, the colorway was perfect. I love a good tan color. You can't go wrong, honestly. And same thing with this, as you can see, it's just massive and it's a large, just like I should be wearing. So I'm not sure. I think this will be really helpful for you in this video. Definitely size down for some items, which is kind of confusing. And that's the frustrating thing about it, is some items were true to size and some were not. So like the Airism tee, for example, looked perfect in a large. Like that would have fit me to a tee if I did like how long the sleeve length was, and then the pants were fine too. However, when it comes to some of the shirts and the shirt jackets and things like that, it was totally wrong when it came to the sizing. So I think that's quite confusing for the consumer and something that I found extremely frustrating in my experience. So what are my overall thoughts on UNIQLO? Do I think it's worth it? Would I recommend it to a friend? Honestly, I would say it just depends on the items, and unlike all of the other YouTubers that are just absolutely hyping up UNIQLO, I do think there are some good items in there, but for me, it did not live up to the hype, and I went in with an open mind, and maybe my expectations were a little too high, but I'm sure you can agree in this video that a lot of the things just did not fit and were not what I was expecting as a consumer, and it wasn't a great experience. So I would just be careful, definitely read the descriptions thoroughly, and for certain items, I think hopefully I can help you showing off, just at least in this video, that you do need to size down for some things, which can be difficult, especially here in the States. It's not like you can go in and try on the items, just because at least in my city, and I live in a really big city, they don't have UNIQLO stores, and I've honestly never seen one either. And for most of my friends, when I ask them about UNIQLO, they have no idea what the brand is. So I do think UNIQLO is still up and coming, at least in this region of the world. I am excited to hopefully be trying more of the items on in the future, but keep that in mind. UNIQLO is a great value brand, but certain things when it comes to sizing are just not what I was expecting. But at the end of the day, I hope you found this video helpful. I used my own money to buy the clothes and own time to go ahead and return them as well. So please go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you found the video helpful. I would greatly appreciate it. And other than that, I guess we'll catch you on the next video.